We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. I have my co-host with me now. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Episode
I've
13.
returned. I've returned from the land of pineapples and tropical fruits, Hawaii.
Shut your ass up. Yeah.
I'm going back there though later this year. I think I'm actually going to be there for the Monaco race, so
Oh,
I
hell yeah.
think I think the time difference is 12 hours.
That
Not
little
sure.
snoozer.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm back now. I'm pretty bummed I missed the last episode, but it is what it is.
No, it's all good, man. We had a down week. It's all good, but dude, this was no down week. Miami was interesting to say the least. A bunch of shenanigans this weekend.
Interesting in some of the best ways, but also some of the worst ways. Like, I don't know, the event, like the track, everyone's bitching about Vegas saying, oh, it's going to be a parking lot. This was literally a parking lot that they raced in.
Yeah, this was literally a parking lot with freaking overpasses with everyday traffic that you could see in the live feed. That I don't know. There, I mean, let's just get into it a little bit. I mean,
You could
like,
see from the overpass, I'm pretty sure you could see the Amazon Prime truck bringing the race pace for Mercedes this weekend because
did
they look pretty good.
bro? I mean, yeah, they did look pretty good, and it's nice to see. Like, I mean, it's literally going back to last year. You got, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes all at the top. So I mean, that was pretty normal for F1, but no, this weekend was far from normal. From the fake marina to chicanes that don't make sense. A chicane going into the freaking pit entry. James Gordon making a mockery of McLaren. Like,
Dude,
it,
we even got to look at it. Max wasn't top two start. That's
no,
crazy.
no, he was on 3-4 with freaking his good pal Checo. It was a Ferrari lockout and a Red Bull lockout right behind him.
Well, too bad it's the end of Leclerc's. Every time he starts pole, he wins a race.
Yeah, no, that's actually a tough stat. That was
Big,
actually a good stat for him to have.
yeah, big bummer on that. But one stat that still holds up is George Russell hasn't finished out of the top
Dude,
five.
dude. And for him to finish top five, overtaking his own teammate at some real quality racing at the final laps, like that's a stat to be proud of. And I know
And
Lewis was doing his bitching at the end, but I mean, hey,
I mean, the strategy.
it
Obviously,
wasn't
George
good.
had the better
Yeah,
strategy,
I
but
agree.
he also benefited from a safety car. So I mean, that's unexpected. But also, George started P12 and finished P5. So driver of the day, I think so.
Yeah, no, you're right. Definitely, definitely. I mean, he could have been in the conversation for driver of the day, but I mean, we saw it go to Max, which I understand it went to Max. He got 17% of the vote, which honestly, getting 17% of the vote and still beating out someone that's a pretty tight vote. But he was behind both Ferraris. He hawked signs at the start, so I mean that was good. But I mean, yeah, I'll give it to him. Verstappen gets driver of the day. He passed both Ferraris for the win, so I can give him that.
He had a flawless race, but I mean, what we're seeing so far is that Max doesn't make mistakes. The only thing that is a mistake is the Red Bull car at times, which we saw with Checo today with the power loss.
Yeah, no, you could be right. Which is crazy because I mean, man, you heard me during the race. I was losing my mind. I'm like, oh my God, Red Bull, it's happening again. Checo's going to lose power, and then later on in the race, 10 laps after that, Max is just going to lock up and lose power too. But
You,
no, it turned out to be temporary.
yeah, you definitely even said that. You're like, dude, how much you want to bet Max is going to lose it later? But then when, yeah, Checo was good. He just had a couple, lost some time, but how about him trying to hawk? He was doing his best Max Verstappen impression, trying to dive bomb on Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, no, honestly, seeing him that alive this race was very good to see. Like, I know there's been conversation. I know Christian Horner earlier this week completely shut down some rumors that maybe Fernando Alonso was talking with him, and Horner was like, "No, we're totally happy with the lineup we have right now. We're gonna go ahead with this one." And I was like, "All right, well that shuts down anything." But having Checo be that close and really the gap be pretty significantly smaller than what it has been in the past, like it was definitely good to see for sure.
Dude, and I mean also just think about it, like how good is Max? Like Checo literally did the same style of overtake that Max is like pretty much known for at this point, and he
Yeah.
couldn't manage to do it. Carlos got him right away, but
I mean,
when Max does it, that sticks.
Max literally just has ice through his veins at all times. I think, dude, it's gotten to the point to where he does not give a damn who you are. He will pass if he's in the mindset of passing you. He's gonna pass you. I don't know how, but he's gonna pass you.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, it pains me to say this because my favorite driver is still Charles Leclerc. Always will be, I think, until, I don't know, maybe down the line I'll find a new up and comer and join them. But for now, or not Carlos, Charles is my favorite driver, but Max is definitely the better driver. Like he's a lot more consistent. He has the championship win, and if you say, "Oh, it's fake," fuck you, okay? It's not.
No, I agree. It's yeah, as much as I would have liked to sing Lewis with the 8 time, and I understand like there's a holy shit, there's like so much going into the end of the race. I mean, you got to respect Max. He's a champion. He shows that he's a champion. He can win virtually. I don't think you can really ever count him out on any place he's at on the grid. He's got a chance of winning. So I mean, he's just a masterclass at driving. Sometimes he pokes his elbows out, but hey, who doesn't?
Yeah, but yeah, I guess let's jump into the race. So we start out Charles and Carlos at the front of the grid, and Max has a great start, gets to overtake on Carlos, and then it was pretty exciting racing for like the first like 20 laps or so, right? Would you
No,
say?
yeah, I would say everybody was fairly close. Now going into the first 20 laps, I will say 1 through 4, the Ferraris and Red Bull definitely pulled away from the pack a bit.
Yeah, but that's all kind of to be expected,
Yeah, I mean,
It
you got to see that one coming.
yeah, I mean with these cars this year, like they're clearly the best, and the crazy thing is Ferrari has barely done any upgrades, and they're still like right behind
And
Red
they're still
Bull.
showing like pure dominance just off a stock car.
Yeah, like you got to think. Shout out to our boy Mirko because when he was on the show, he showed us the Ferrari car is quicker under the brakes and it's quicker to accelerate out of like turns and off the brakes. So they've got a lot of good things going for them. The only thing they're really lacking was pure top speed, and
Yeah,
that's where the Red Bull's been shining. Is the upgrades they brought. Like it hasn't hurt them. Their top speed's still there. Like they have one of the fastest engines, actually the fastest engine. And then yeah, they're just like you could see because uh he kept Charles was even in the DRS and trying to gain on him, but he couldn't pass him. And
yeah,
then
he
eventually
couldn't.
he just dropped him out of DRS range, and then that was all she wrote.
Yeah, and to be honest, and you're right with that because it was damn near just straight, pure straight line speed. Like he just couldn't get past him on the straights. You can see Leclerc gaining his time in the corners and getting really close to overtaking in attack distance, but he can never put it together because when they got on the straights, I mean, the Red Bull just pulls away. Even with DRS, we literally saw multiple times with either a Red Bull powertrain or maybe someone like Williams, if they get in the straight, you just can't keep up with them. You can't.
Yeah, yeah, and it kind of hurt because I knew on those last couple laps, as soon as Leclerc was out of the DRS range, that like there was no way he was getting that back because that last straight DRS zone is where you needed to use the DRS to really keep up with the Red Bull, because otherwise Red Bull is just gonna pull off on you.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean,
Yeah,
you in the straights, I literally think the Red Bull, Williams, and any car, even the AlphaTauri to some extent, because I mean, we made the joke today. Hamilton got behind Pierre Gasly, and literally we were like, well, it's going to be a long race for Hamilton. He's never going to pass him. But within like 2 laps of saying that, he passed him. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's an improvement for Mercedes.
I gotta say, I think the track conditions in the last race at Imola was really what was holding up Lewis behind him
Yes.
because there was really only one dry line. So I think it's safe to say the racing is improved, the following is really great, but there still seems to be an issue where about halfway through the race there's a lull where everyone's got kind of into their spot and they're fixed there until like something happens like Pierre Gasly forgets how to drive and causes a massive safety car.
Dude, oh my God. I mean, he almost forgot how to drive to Alonso and then literally 2 laps later does the same thing to freaking Lando.
Yeah,
So it's like,
let's talk about Gasly a little bit. Like, he's at AlphaTauri. Everyone's thinking, man, he's been so good at AlphaTauri. He maybe he got into Red Bull a little too early, and he was doing good. And then this year, I don't know if I'm really seeing the same Pierre Gasly. And then today, with those crazy mistakes where he's bumping into Alonso and he's taking out Lando, like what's going on with him?
yeah, man, I wish I could tell you, but honestly, it is that's another one that kind of hurts to see. It's like I felt, I mean, you saw me in previous weeks. I was so high on the Gasly train that I'm sitting here saying over and over again that I think he's hit the ceiling at AlphaTauri. There's nothing he can get out of AlphaTauri anymore. But, just like we just saw today, as we said that, it just looks like just mental errors, just straight like just stuff he shouldn't even be doing. And
Yeah,
I have no idea what's causing that. I have no idea what's stopping him from that. I just don't know.
I gotta say, it seemed like his head wasn't really in the race with those accidents because he was just making stupid little errors. Alonso was like, uh, he just squeezed me for no reason out of nowhere, and you always must leave the space. You always have to leave the
Yeah.
space. So
L
it's
plan. Always leave the space.
so it's like, dude, when he did that to Alonso, I was like, man, there's something up with that. And then takes out Lando, and oh, man, you got to feel for Lando. I'm just happy that he didn't hit the wall. He just spun out in circles
Yeah.
on the track.
Yeah. I'm happy he didn't hit anything serious, especially since this weekend they decided to take every cushioned wall out of the damn freaking circuit and put in a concrete wall. So it's like it was really good to see his crash, not a huge deal, but dude, come on, man. It's like check your mirrors one time, my guy. He didn't even
McLaren
he didn't even move.
McLaren cannot catch a break to save their lives,
I'm
man.
telling you, James Gordon sabotaged this weekend.
Yeah, you did say that,
Made
but
made him wear freaking crop tops, and they finished dead last on damn near everything.
yeah, I gotta say, I was pretty high on Gasly. Also, I was even saying maybe he would go to Ferrari and replace Carlos, but and I know we were also talking maybe he would do a swap with Danny Ricciardo and uh, be at McLaren, but I think he burned that bridge today when he
I think.
crashed. I
I
think
mean,
that
that would have
one's
been his teammate. So yeah,
so I don't know. It's looking like it's either AlphaTauri or he's going down to Williams. So we'll
yeah,
see
and
how.
that sucks for that because it's like, you want to upgrade from AlphaTauri, but damn, dude, if you can't even get the car and you're not even getting everything out of that AlphaTauri right now. So it's like I don't know what the plan is right there. I just really don't. I don't
You
know
got
where
to
where he goes.
you got to think the AlphaTauri should be top of the midfield because Red Bull's so dominant, and you have to think that a lot of their design should be based on the Red Bull. But I don't know.
I mean, I agree. If Red Bull powertrains are so close to the product and so close with AlphaTauri, we should see some sort of resemblance. But right now, it literally looks like AlphaTauri is on their own little island of in the middle between like kind of good, but what's happening is that I think the drivers now we know it's not the car. It's just drivers are just making just small mistakes, just mistakes that. But that's the thing. It's small mistakes that turn into just big consequences that just
Yeah,
don't make sense.
they're not Williams, they're not Ashton Martin, but they're not Mercedes,
No,
either.
they're not. Yeah, they're not even Alpha. They're not even Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, and what's up with Haas, man?
Dude, they look so strong coming out of week 1, week 2, even into week 3, and then what happened?
Yeah, and yet again, Mick failed to get points. He was in a good position, and then he goes and takes out his
His
mentor,
his freaking yeah,
Sebastian Vettel. What man?
his Jedi Master, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Is Vettel gonna be no more Mr. Nice Guy after this, or what do you think?
Nah, I think it was pretty innocent, but at the same time, there was nothing happening on the track, man. It's like, and I understand, like, we're gonna get into it. I understand there was a bunch of track conditions that had a lot of effect on a bunch of shit this weekend. So I get that, but like, at some point, you got to figure that it you can't blame it on that regardless. Like you have to have something going for you. And we saw a bunch of people run wide for simply no reason. We saw a bunch of people like I mean, you had Leclerc go wide, you had Verstappen go wide, you had Lewis go wide on some of the chicanes.
Magnussen was losing traction. It seemed like there was two problem areas in the track, and one of them was that god awful chicane under the bridge,
yeah,
and then you saw people coming out of that and bumping into the barrier during practice and qualifying. And then the other area was where you could tell they had issues there because they tried to repave that section of the track. That weird left-hand turn that's kind of like I don't know what kind of shape it is. It was an awkward one, but you could see where they like repaved over that. And I think it was going into the like the final straight maybe. Pretty much that's also where Lando got crashed, right after that turn. But
yeah, but even that was so stupid.
that was a dumb
Like
mistake.
Pierre
But that
ran wide and rejoined the track and then just literally clips a car that's pushing for literally no reason at all.
yeah, but that part of the track seemed to be a problem area. So I don't know. I don't think it was a great intro to the Miami Grand Prix. I personally am not a fan of the track. I think it had a lot of good elements in it, but like I think it's more so the whole politics of it. Like, yeah, we're building this
Yeah.
track. We're gonna put this fake marina in here that doesn't even have water. We're gonna put boats. We're gonna have all the rich people come out, celebs, and just make it a big like show. Try to be Monaco, but not even Monaco. It's definitely the dollar store version of Monaco.
No, I mean, dude, like I I want to sit here and like be stoked that America has three races now. And we're gonna debut another one with Vegas next year, and I want to be stoked as hell for Miami and like, oh, cool, we have two U.S. Grand Prix like on the calendar this year. But like, I don't know, dude. Freaking, I think this whole weekend was just a huge stinker. The racing was pretty exciting. I understand, like it was, but we saw some weird pit strategies. We saw the track be damn near 100 something degrees. We like we have the fake water. We have a chicane under an underpass where we can see everyday traffic. It's like a chicane at the freaking pit entry. That makes zero sense to me. Like I don't know, man. I just think that this whole track is just kind of goofy. It just seems goofy. The whole money grab and then the track not being, and then freaking concrete walls everywhere. Like, dang, we're worried about jewelry on the grid, but we can't put a nice cushioned wall for some drivers.
Yeah, I think right now it's ready for the Chris Hickson rant special. The FIA
Yeah.
is well, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. Uh they're doing this whole racing for money type stuff, really. That's why they have all the Middle Eastern Grand Prix. We got a freaking terrorist attack this year. We got controversy over jewelry of all things, where let's look at other professional sports. The MLB lets players wear chains and stuff. The National Football League, that's a heavy contact
Yeah,
sport,
they wear
and
earrings and
you
chains
can
and
wear
all that.
whatever you want. You can wear
Yeah.
whatever. This is it. You're driving in a car on your own, dude. Like if there's contact, it's definitely like that's a mistake. That's not a part of the whole game. So it's like,
Yeah.
where does jewelry? How does that affect the driver? If anything, it's making them heavier.
Yeah, if you want to get down to the science of it, it's like the more jewelry someone's wearing in a car, if anything, it's a disadvantage to the driver. But at the same time, it's like it's not really a disadvantage because what? At most, you had freaking earrings and maybe a necklace.
I
Like,
mean, unless you're Lewis Hamilton, you're iced the fuck out.
yeah, that no, that's true. The dude's walking around with like quarter mil on his body. Like, I mean, but that's the thing though. Like, we're sitting here worried about that. We're worried about freaking jewelry and uniform like precautions. I mean, you saw freaking Vettel at a protest. He rocked his Jimmy Johns over his race suit just to protest the freaking like the apparel rules or whatever. Like, it makes zero sense. They're worried about the wrong shit right now.
I mean, I'm sorry. I thought this was America for one. You're in Miami and you can't wear a Cuban link chain on in your car? Come
It's
on
almost
now.
sacrilegious.
Yeah, it's literally like, dude, we're in Miami, man. We gotta be iced out.
It's just like I said, man. It's just I I understand this is big. We have 3 Grand Prix in America, but it was just fucking fugazi. It was like it. I don't even know. I just don't. I mean, the track's 100 degrees. You have people pitting after freaking 10 laps. You have like the softs were virtually useless on this track because they went off in 5 laps.
And you're saying they're pitting after 10 laps and they're on mediums. They're on
Mediums,
mediums.
starting with mediums, Christopher Hickson.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
I don't get that.
the George strategy to start on hards was, that
It
was
was the
pretty
move. It
amazing.
got him
That
top
was the
five.
move. That was the move. Yeah, and you heard it, Lewis. He said the strategy is really not helping me out, and it really didn't. But I mean, everyone else really started on the medium, so what were they supposed to do? The only reason that George started on hards was because he started so low on the grid.
Yeah, which I get that. The starting on the hards definitely worked for him, and then I think with Danny Rick with his tire strategy, starting the mediums was good. I think actually being out there too long was detrimental to him. Like Lando got caught in like a pit exit and just got absolutely hoed by Lance Stroll crossing like at the very last second crossing that double white line of coming out of the pit exit, cutting off Lando, and then letting 3 other cars pass Lando because he had to ease off. Like that shit pissed me off. I saw that and I was like, come on, man. There's 3 cars in front of Lando. Stroll is they virtually meet up at the pit exit. Stroll cuts over the white line to close the door on Lando, and then just since Lando has to pump on the brakes so hard, 3 other cars pass him, and he can't even get
Yeah,
up to speed. And then Danny Rick staying a little bit too long out there with the mediums, costing him what 5 places.
yeah, yeah, yeah. As we saw on Twitter, uh, every like McLaren's kind of hating on Danny Rick, and yeah, sure, he hasn't really given them much to be happy with this year, but they haven't done much to help him out either.
Yeah, I
Their
think.
strategy with Danny Rick's been so bad.
Yeah, no, I to be honest, I don't think there's a single thing that you can blame anything on McLaren this year other than, when the car's good, sometimes the driver has trouble. When the car's not good, I mean, the driver can't do anything about it. So it's like, you know, uh,
Yeah, I don't know, man. McLaren's got other issues, and you would like to say Pierre Gasly could have been a replacement, but at this point, I don't think so. I think Danny Rick should stay. I think they need to just work on the car and just let it play out. I'm sure he'll turn it around later, just like he did last year.
no, yeah, he needs to. I mean, if he wants to, his contract's up after this year. He needs to turn it around. If he doesn't, I mean, we can see, like we said, we made the joke earlier. If Pierre definitely just burnt that bridge of going to McLaren, but like he, Pierre wants to go to a better team, and I don't think he's going to Williams, and I don't think he's going to Red Bull with the way Checo's performing right now. So it's like the only other place I can see if Danny Rick turns around, no problem, they'll keep that. But if he doesn't, I mean, you got to change the scenery for someone.
Yeah, and it's not going to be Lando.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, lots of stuff going on there, and just one more time back to the FIA. Like, what's the it seems like they don't really care about driver safety too much.
Not even a
Because
little bit.
Carlos has a big crash there, and I think someone else did too, like high impact crashes in this area, and they say, hey, we should put some safety feature here that the drivers all want. They're all behind it. It's not like two drivers said we should add the safety feature and the rest of the grid's like, oh, why would we do that? No one had an issue with it. FIA goes, nope, we don't need it there. We're good.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like, bro, he had like a hip contusion. He had like what soreness in his neck. Like he actually suffered some injury
I think he had
on
a
that wreck.
sprain somewhere
Yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it made zero sense. They're worried about all this dumb shit off the grid. It's all off the grid stuff. But then on every high speed chicane, they have a concrete barrier ready to meet your car and absolutely wreck you. So it's like
Yeah,
I don't understand that. Not even a little bit.
But I mean, shout out to Carlos Sainz, P3 still today, even with the injuries from
Dude,
practice.
he freaking needed that bounce back. Coming off of 2 weekends in a row where he's been the car off fresh off a brand new contract. That is not a good look.
Yeah, and his defense against Checo on that big dive bomb attempt, that was pretty great. That was good
Yeah, no,
racing.
I that was good racing. That was good racing. You're
It
100%
was.
right. He needed a push right there, and I was okay with it. I was 100% okay with it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, I guess really the other big thing to talk about was DRS trains on this race. Like that was not too great. There were some pretty big ones and a lot of people got trapped. I think there was like 4 or 5 cars like
Yeah, I mean, we saw Aston Martin, both Haas's, and then Lando getting stuck behind that
both
DRS
Aston
train.
Martins. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
it
guess
was
not
it was
really.
Stroll a
Lance,
little bit. Stroll had a little bit of a gap on Vettel,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then Vettel had both Haas's and the McLaren behind him virtually almost the whole race.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. I don't know. I think the regulations have been an improvement, but I think there's still a long way to go. I think they need to work on getting the cars smaller again, honestly, so we can see more like nibble movements.
Well,
We need to do
that
something about go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking on the smaller car and that, it's like you see how skinny some of these sections were on this track. Like
Mm-hmm.
going into
Mm-hmm.
that chicane under the underpass and even the straight before that, dude, you could. I think one car took up 3/4 of the whole track just because how big they are. You couldn't do anything right there.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And if you want to keep Monaco on the grid, it's an iconic track. It's really a great track, but these cars keep getting bigger and wider and longer,
It's
and it's
just a
making the
parade.
racing, yeah, it's making the racing really terrible there. So I would like to see more regulation and get the cars smaller. I'm happy that they have this hybrid era and the cars are more efficient than ever or whatever the engines, but like now the racing's getting tighter, but there's still a lull in every race. Like after 20 or so laps, people get in their spot and nothing really changes unless a safety car comes out there or someone makes a big mistake.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right because it's like we saw some really good racing today, but that really good racing kind of stayed put. There was no advancement of anything today, really, other than George Russell, really coming from coming from the back and starting on hards and making way up his grid and finishing top five. Like we said, 5 race weekends in a row now. He's not finished lower than top five. So it's like that's really good. And even Danny Rick made up 3 places off the start. So that was really good. But once people got stuck on their spot of the track, there was virtually no movement other than safety cars and the occasional like someone ran wide and got their place, but they eventually got the place back. So it's like it wasn't super exciting of a track, but that's the thing. I don't blame it on the racing or the cars right there. I kind of just chalk it up to poor track design and just kind of like a weird weekend, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
yeah, fair. I mean, the track didn't look like it had a lot of overtaking opportunities.
No, not even a little bit. They had 3 DRS sections and barely anyone overtook in those sections.
It seemed like they were like, "Hey, we're an American track. Everyone hates on us for not enough turns. Let's just put a bunch of turns in here and see how it goes." And, it still wasn't that great. I don't know. This was very literally a parking lot. I'm hoping Vegas would be better. I want to go to Vegas, so hopefully we can go to that one next year.
No, I mean, yeah, that would be cool. It would be super sick. And I already like the track layout of Vegas more than I do freaking Miami.
I saw some videos of it on Assetto Corsa where people made track mods and it looked wide on there. I mean, I don't know how realistic they are, like who's doing it, but if it's pretty wide and long and lots of straights, there's plenty of overtaking to be done there. So should be better than Miami. I'm personally a Miami hater, so yeah, it
Yeah,
just is what it is.
yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of with Chris. It kind of is what it is with this weekend. I mean, there was just so much buffoonery, just straight buffoonery happening all weekend from celebs to suit like mega social media events for all the drivers that look just annoyed to do it anyway. It's like it just it was just a weird weekend for F1. It definitely was. And like we said with the rant of like you're you're not tripping about safety precautions, but we're worried about what drivers are wearing on the grid, bro. It's like
Yeah.
it's just buffoonery all the way around.
Well, at least in good news, we're going to Spain next. So
Yes, we
a
got
down week.
some upgrades coming for Spain. I don't know
Yeah.
what yet, but we got some big upgrades from big teams coming for Spain.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Ferrari does because Red Bull's definitely got the upgrades and they made their car the best so far, but Leclerc is right behind him. I know today he made some mistakes, and I think that cost him a lot of the race, the mistakes earlier.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll see what they do. I'm hoping Ferrari can get their car back to number one again, and we can see some better battles, more battling
oh
with.
no, yeah, man, they're right there. I think one or two upgrades, even if that, and just remain consistent, they're right there with Red Bull, man. But no, to round out, we had we had Max, Leclerc, Sainz, Checo, Russell, and Hamilton, just like it should be. We got Red Bull, Ferrari, Red Bull, and both Mercedes, and Russell beating out Hamilton those last few laps is big, man. But no, it was an exciting weekend. I'm just stoked to have my co-host back. I'm stoked he's back. I'm stoked we're gonna have another episode this weekend, just covering the midweek upgrades and midweek, race results and where the teams are sitting, getting prepared for Spain. But no, it was a good weekend, man. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, glad to be back. It was fun. You guys know what to do. Check us out on Twitter, TLUPF1. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to comment. Let us know what you thought of the race. And we're now on Spotify and Apple Music, so that's exciting. Hope you guys check us out there and follow us and give us a like and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Please blow up our comments with arguments. But this was episode 13. Later, family.
Peace.